I'm probably making it. I have to change the name of this thing. So let me see. Zoidberg. Okay, so I'm back. I didn't think I was going to post today, but my eye was bothering me, so I decided to take a day off. But it's feeling better, so might as well get a little work done. I'm in the middle of well, let me find my camera setting. I'm in the middle of a rainstorm here, so I was gonna make the arm rods so they'd be dry for tomorrow. I don't know if I'll be able to paint them, but I think I'm gonna make them removable arm rods, so I could always paint them later. So I'm not gonna worry about it too much. But I will show you how that process works because I know it's of interest to a lot of people. Call up see if anybody actually watches this stuff. All right, so stuff I'm gonna need. I needed a 1/2-inch dowel, which I cut into 5-inch pieces. I also rounded the edges on my my sander, and I put a little. I don't know if you can see it, but I put a little flat area there on one side, on both of them at one end. It's about 1 inch, maybe a little bit over 1 inch. From there, I'm going to get my drill, and I've marked my drill bits. I don't know if you can see this, but I have a drill bit. And what size do I use? I can't even read it, but I have, through trial and error, figured out that whatever size this one is the size that fits the arm rod. So I marked it on my little thing. I have one for shoelaces. I have one for small screw eyes. Just the drill bits I use over and over again. I've marked. So I'll put that in. Hi, Tilly. Okay. Let me switch it to this angle here. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill. I'm not going to drill into the top. I'm going to drill into the side, this flat area here, right at the base. We put a hole. It goes all the way through. I usually run it through both sides to kind of take the burrs off. And do the other one too. Make sure your fingers aren't anywhere near that hole when you're doing it. During that drill, towards that drill bit. Okay, so let me get the. Okay, so in the past, I would use a pair of needle nose pliers, and I still, I'm going to use them on this as well. But I take this welding rod, which I've already, like I said, I started these yesterday, but when that rainstorm came in, I was kind of hoping it would go away. So what I did was these are cut to 15 inches, this welding rod. And then I bent it over about a 1/2 inch, a little 90-degree angle, pretty close to it. I have this really cool jig that I just recently got that attaches to my workbench, and it's real easy to do these tight bends. But you don't need it. It was like $12. It actually was $12 to buy, and then it was $12 in shipping. So I don't know if it's really all that useful. But basically, what you do is you stick that into you stick that into that hole that you just drilled, the little bent end, And it may peek out the edge. It's not going to be a big problem. I'm not used to this setup. Okay, so it's not going to be a big deal if it pokes out the side. But I'm going to do that on both of them. I got 2 of these. Stick that in. Sometimes you have to kind of take the pliers to get it to conform a little bit better. But that one does stick through a little bit, but it's not a big deal. Okay, so now I'm going to get some, doesn't matter what color thread. I'm going to get some thread. Let me adjust this camera because it's driving me crazy. It'll drive you guys crazy too. I did Justin Talks Puppets podcast YouTube thing yesterday, and I reset up all my cameras so they're not quite in the same position as they were. But I'm still learning. I'm still learning what works. But I want to make sure you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay. Oops. Come on. Boy, I'm doing a bang-up job here. Let me turn this off here. This is what I use. This is what I get for using a bunch of cell phones as my. Okay. All right. I just put down a piece of paper because I didn't want to mess up my little cutting mat. Okay, so I got these guys in their positions. A lot of times people will cut a channel here for it, but I mean, this works pretty well. So I'm going to take some thread. Then you just wanted to make sure it's not going to break on you, but it's not really doing anything but keeping this thing from rolling off place. You're going to get like maybe a yard, not a yard of it, maybe a little less. I hope I have my, yeah. I couldn't remember if I had turned on the microphone again. Okay. So I'm going to make like a little, like a, what do you call it? Is it a slip knot? It's a type of knot where you can, like a lasso almost. Whatever that's called. I used to be a Cub Scout, believe it or not. I don't remember. And I do it really poorly, but basically you want to make it so that it's almost like a little lasso here. And I'm going to take this. I'm going to feed it on here. And then I'm just going to wind it around as many times as it'll go. Up and down it. And then I should have gotten this set up ahead of time. I'm going to get some super glue, and I got my kicker here. I'm just going to put a little dab of super glue on that. It'll come out right on that end there. This is not as structural as just trying to keep this, so you don't have to die. Oops, I put a lot on there. Well, let me just let that sit for a second. I'm going to do the other one, so maybe I don't have to use up as much glue. I do much better when people are watching these things and commenting because that's going to get on there. Okay. So now that it's gotten on the table, I'm not going to worry about it, but I'm going to hit it with the kicker real quick. Put it in place. Set that aside. Do the same thing on this side. I know that there's an easier way to do these type of knots, but I don't remember how to do it. I'm too lazy to look it up. Okay. Oops. Doing a bang up job here. I've seen people that make the 3D print handles, and they're probably a lot easier than what I do here, but I still don't have a 3D printer, and I'm not going to worry about it. Okay. Oh my gosh. See, I'm just nervous. See, if I was doing this off camera, you guys would never know. You just think I was a genius. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna stick this on there. Okay, I'm gonna wrap this up. Hopefully there's enough usable glue still on the table here that I can just dip this in here. Yeah, it looks like it. Okay, and now I'm gonna hit it with the kicker. Okay, so now I got both of those things set up. Okay, get rid of this glue. Not sure what happened to the little lid I just had. Oh, there it is. Okay. So now I need the epoxy, the 5-minute epoxy. This is the same stuff that's in that 2-part 5-minute epoxy that you can buy at the hardware store. But I find that usually it dries up before I can use it all. So this works better or just as well. And you can get it at the craft store for $5 or $6, which is about what you spend on the other. I think I bought this on Amazon for $9. But anyway, so what I'm gonna do, I need a couple of popsicle sticks, or these are tongue depressors, I guess. And I usually break one like this so that I can lay or get the end of this up off the up off the table. Sometimes I do two. see if this helps. Yeah, there we go. And then I'm going to squirt out about a dime-sized one here, part A. And then do the same with part B. About the same amount. They don't have to be exact, but close. Otherwise, it won't cure. Oh, boy. I usually do this outside, but okay. Then you take the last of these popsicle sticks and you mix them together. You have 5 minutes to work on it, use it. Hence the name 5-minute epoxy. And then I'm not going to get it on the rod part if I can help it, but I'm going to coat it all the way around this piece of string, the edge of the rod here, and the thread. I'm going to cover in this epoxy. There's one of them. I'm going to keep that up off the table because if I don't, it's going to glue it to the table. Oops. As it. Right. Do the same with this one. And the super glue is only there to keep the thread in place. This is what does all the work of keeping it together. All right, so that's done. I made too much of that epoxy, but what's done is done. So you want to spread these out a little bit so they don't glue to each other and they don't glue to the table. And then you basically just let that go until it's done. I haven't bent the tops yet. I'm going to do that on the next step. I'm going to let this dry for about, I could let it dry for 5 minutes, but I'll let it dry for about 20. And then I'll come back and I'll finish these guys up, make the bend, and then I'm going to make the plate that goes inside the hand when it's done with a little tube in it so that these will be removable. I have been trying to think of an easy way that I could make them actually clap, but I'm not going to worry about it. They're just going to be static, posable hands. I thought of this way to do it that might work, but it was so much engineering, and I want to be able to have this thing done this week, so I don't really want to spend a lot of time. I did dye Polar Fleece is notorious for not being able to dye it. But I had some green, and I thought, well, that was such a bright neon shirt that I made for him. And so this is the color it was. This is the original color. And I was able to make it a little bit darker, although when I pulled that thing out of the dye bath, it was like a forest green. It was so dark. And I just wrung it out one time, and it turned that color. And I actually dyed it twice to try and get it that color. So this is not his final shirt. I ended up, I was going to make this out of the fleece, and I was going to make his little top coat out of fleece. I've made the pattern for this, so I it's going to work. But I ended up buying a scrub, the right color scrub, and a kid's lab coat on eBay. Together they were like less than $20. So I'm going to actually, when those come, they should come on Monday or Tuesday. I'm going to take the patterns I made for this one, and I'm going to transfer them to to those pieces, so that he'll have a real scrubs the right color, and the lab coat will be correct. So, and also what's nice about that is I think I can probably graft the sleeves, just shorten them and use those, and I don't have to do a lot of finishing on those. I'll show you how I'll do that too. Basically, what I do is I make almost like a vest with the seams on the sides open still, and leave the arm. I cut the arms open, turn it all the wrong side out, and cut it down to size, and then sew the arms on, and then I just run a seam up the arm and down each side, and then it makes an outfit for them. And it's so small that when you turn it right side out, you couldn't get the sewing machine in there otherwise. So that's just something. I mean, I think it's probably fairly standard for that. I don't think that's the way normal clothes are made, but it's the way that I found that works. And so anyway, I'm gonna put this stuff away, and I'll be back on a little bit to finish up these arm rods and make the plate. But I know that a lot of people buy their arm rods online, and it's so simple to do, and you don't even have to use welding rods. On the smaller stuff, I use these flags, and they're like a spring steel. They don't do the heavier arms, but they work great for really light arms. So, and you can get like 50 of these for $5. So it's worth, if it's between this and coat hanger. Coat hangers work pretty well too, but they do bend very easily. This is a good option. So all right, I'll be back in a bit. Oops.